Now, I've heard politicians say and do some really dumb and outrageous things. But the words and actions of Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib of Michigan last week, they're not dumb, they're dangerous. She and another Muslim member of Congress, the Somali-born Ilhan Omar, announced that they were going to go to Israel for a visit. But the stated purpose wasn't to visit with any Israeli officials or even to visit Yad Vashem, the memorial for the victims of the Holocaust, but rather to lead in protest against the Israeli government and to support the utterly absurd anti-Semitic left-wing funded BDS movement, which stands for Boycott, Divestiture, and Sanction. It is a nutcase cause that urges companies and countries to boycott Israel, to divest from any investment in any company that's based there, and then to push for international sanctions against the only real democracy between Europe and Asia. Now, with straight faces, these women accuse Israel of apartheid, of racism, of course, racism, of theft of land, and probably, I'm guessing they accuse Israel of the kidnapping of the Lindbergh baby and the crash of the Hindenburg. Look, they support truly disgusting regimes like Hamas, which is listed by the U.S. as a terrorist organization, and the Palestinian Authority, which, by the way, pays lifetime pensions to families of terrorists who kill Jews and who even name streets and buildings after the cold-blooded killers of Jews. You see, here's a fact that the media didn't tell you much about. Since 2017, Israel has a law that it will not allow into its country those who wish to undermine the government and the people by promoting BDS. I mean, that seems fair enough. I mean, it's for the same reason that you wouldn't welcome into your own home someone who announced that he or she wanted to come in, trash your house, break the windows, destroy your furniture, and set fire to the place. I mean, you'd be stupid to allow that. Israel has simply said, in law, that if you want to peddle the hate and blatant lies of the BDS movement, you're going to have to do it somewhere other than the country in which it's designed to hurt. That seems reasonable. But then Congresswoman Tlaib claimed, she really wanted to go and see her grandmother who lives in Judea. So Prime Minister Netanyahu graciously and generously offered Tlaib a humanitarian gesture to come and visit her grandmother. That's when Tlaib refused the offer. Because as it turned out, it wasn't about the grandmother, it was about grandstanding. And having been exposed as a fraud, you might think that other members of Congress, even her fellow Democrats, would call her out for her disingenuous deception to attempt to use her own grandmother for her own political showboating. But you would be wrong. Democrats, including many who were once strong supporters of Israel, even threatened legislative action to recall U.S. diplomats from Israel and to expel Israeli diplomats from the U.S. These two ladies favor countries that don't allow women to have equal rights or even get to drive and who can't always vote. They defend countries that burn churches and synagogues and who even kill people for being gay. Democrats in America, including these two, side against Israel, who has a long history of free elections, humanitarian acts toward its enemies, freedom of speech, and protection of human rights and the rule of law. There was a time when both Democrats and Republicans saw Israel as an important ally, and they defended the right of the Jewish people to live in their indigenous, ancient, historic homeland. Today, not so much. Folks, the Bible says in Genesis 12:3, those who bless Israel will be blessed. Those who curse Israel will be cursed. Now, if the nation of Israel and its relationship with the United States is important to you, you better choose carefully when you vote. I don't agree with Republicans on everything, nor do I disagree with Democrats on everything. I really don't. But I wouldn't want to be a part of a political party that openly invited God's curse. Hey, folks, we're having enough trouble in this country while begging for God's blessing. We surely won't survive if we invoke His wrath. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, be sure to leave a like, then subscribe, and hit the notification bell below. Now, if you didn't like it, you ought to find a Ben Shapiro video to detox you with more facts.